A revocable living trust is a tool to manage your assets while you're alive or to transfer your assets after you're dead. It was popularized in states where probate is a very difficult, convoluted, expensive, and hard thing to get through. Up here where we live, probate is not that big of a deal, so we don't use this tool as often. However, having said that, it is a tool to manage assets while you're alive and to pass assets on when you're dead. It lands on this side of the board, so going through the stages, here's your estate planning documents, and that's where this would start, right here. Asset preservation, I'll address that here in just a minute, to long-term care and after death, should you pass away. So here's your revocable living trust. Trusts are like buckets, so if it's my house, Denise's house, and then I put it in the bucket, now it's Denise's trust house, okay? So if I put it into a revocable living trust, it's more like a cardboard bucket, kind of like a leaky bucket. You can rip this side off and add this to it or whatever you want to do. You can even jump inside of it and maybe you put your house into it and you can take your house out because you want to sell it, put another house in, put some money out here, put some more money in. And because you're going in and out, it's actually using your social security number because you're inside that trust. Also, because you're going in and out of this trust, this wall doesn't really exist, which means creditors can also get in there. So it's not a creditor protected type of trust, which is why we don't use it very often. Very similar to a will, it's still your stuff, right? If you pass away and you can leave your assets to other people, or you can leave them into a trust for the benefit of other people, that's one way to do it. You do have to be very careful about that though, because some states will say leaving it to a person is fine, but if you're gonna leave assets to somebody in maybe a creditor protected trust from a revocable living trust, that is actually not going to be creditor protected. It depends on which state you're doing it in, what state you're going to get your care from. So a revocable living trust a lot of times are sold as the end-all be-all for everybody to avoid probate. Here where we don't have to worry about probate so much, and a lot of times where we want that creditor protection after death, it's not necessarily the best way to go. Having said that, it still is a tool that you can create to have your assets managed while you're alive, especially if you're maybe losing capacity, and to pass assets on after you die.